You want to take a couple minutes and find the center of your wing. Once you find the center of it, make a mark. Transpose those marks to the leading edge and the trailing edge, and with a black magic marker just make a mark. This will mark the center of the wing. Then you also want to make marks on the fuselage in the center, and this is what you will line the wing up with, and that way you're assured that the wing is on straight, and that's just one less thing you have to worry about. If it gets cockeyed, it'll fly funny, could fly, it'll pull to the right or the left. So once you get your markings, this is as simple as when you lay the wing on, match it up with your marks, and you know that the wing is centered. And next thing we'll do is balance the plane out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to balance the plane out, and there's not a lot of information on what the center of gravity of the center of lift, center of gravity for the Super Cub is, but there's an easy way to find that out. And you take a right angle speed square, which let me show you here. This is what I use, and we'll put that underneath the wing, and then we'll take another ruler and we'll butt that up against this, and we're going to measure across the top of the wing to show you here. And what you're trying to find is you're trying to find the highest point on this wing, and that is where the thickest part, or the most lift of the wing is created. And what I do is I put the flat edge underneath the wing, find the flat spot, and make sure that it rests across the flat spot and not up around this curve here on the leading edge. And then I'll take my ruler and I'll lay it across here and use that to make sure that it's straight in angle with the bottom and parallel, and wherever it touches the wing is the center of lift. I come up with 2 1/4, which is roughly what I've read on the internet. So we know that this wing is center of lift is 2 1/4. That's where we're going to try and balance out the plane. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flip the plane over, and we're going to transpose those numbers to the underneath of the wing, and then we're going to put it on a lift jig to find center of gravity jig, and see just how close we are. Okay, I went ahead and made a marking underneath the wing at 2 1/4 inches, and the way you want to do this is you want to measure 2 1/4 inches back from the leading edge. And what I do is I just put a straight edge against the leading edge of the wing. You don't want to have it touch this plastic piece, because that bumps out, could be a 1/16 to 1/8 of an inch. So make sure you touch it on the leading edge of the wing only. Taking your ruler, touching that that straight edge, and then mark your 2 1/4. And you want to do this on both sides of the plane, and then we'll put it on our jig to see if the plane balances out. Alright, I went ahead and put the plane on my balancing jig, and as you can see, that's right on the marks at 2 1/4, and it's a little tail heavy. How you can tell is if you look at the horizontal stabilizer, it's angled back a little bit. It should be almost straight in line with the wing, or parallel to the ground when it flies, pretty much like that. So at 2 1/8, or 2 1/4, I'm sorry, which is what the jig is sitting at, and I don't know if you can see this very well, but I have the point of my balancing jig right in line with the line I drew on the underneath of the wing, and it's just a tail, literally tail heavy. So we're going to go ahead and go back, and I'm going to move the plane around and see where it balances, and then we're going to see just how far off we are. But we went ahead and rebalanced the plane, and now my horizontal stabilizer is parallel with the ground, and I found that I'm roughly 1/8 of an inch behind my center of gravity mark, which is 2 1/4, so I'm actually 2 3/8 behind the leading edge of the wing. So that's telling me that I'm just very slightly tail heavy. I'd prefer to be nose heavy. Most planes perform much better nose heavy, but 1/8 of an inch, give or take, on this plane isn't even noticeable. When you get into 1/4 inch, then you're probably going to start noticing some performance issues. Be sure when you balance your plane that everything is on the plane that you're going to fly it with. Batteries, logos, everything, wheels. The plane is completely done. So that way, when you balance it, this is exactly the weight that you're going to have in the sky. If you change batteries, then you'll probably need to rebalance the plane again. And I don't mean change batteries like going from one 1500 milliamp to another, but change it like if you go from a 1500 milliamp to a 2200 milliamp. That could change the balance a little bit depending on where that battery sits. So this plane's done, and it's been balanced.